consolidation, right? I mean, you eliminate a lot of things and put everything into a single place. So zero trust, I believe, has got a very interesting future. I'm very curious to see how things pan out. Cloud definitely is another, because that's going to help in consolidation. So as an industry, that consolidation drive can happen in many ways, but there are these couple of very powerful kind of dynamics which are panning out right now. And last but not the least, I would definitely love to highlight the topic, which is response and recovery. In other words, right?
Sure.
It's not just about trying to protect, but it's also about having the right kind of response and recovery program in place, which can be done through many different approaches, which could be having the right kind of backups, having these crisis drills, and having the right kind of processes in place, having BCPDR, etc., etc. Many of these may not be very costly. You don't need to go and buy that appliance and shiny new device, etc. These are more basic stuff, but that basic stuff is becoming very, very important. So to conclude, Dan, anything you want to add before we kind of wrap it up with the
No,
last question
I
for
think
today?
your points are well taken, and I think the complexity. It's funny. I agree that so many organizations don't have they don't even use the tools they have, first of all, and they're always always being asked to add more, or you're missing this, you're missing that. It's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge. So simplifying the architecture, I agree with you on zero trust. It's a challenge because I also think, play devil's advocate, the other thing, they've been talking about industry consolidation for years and years and years, and yet we see more and more startups all the time. So it just keeps growing, and I think there's been predictions that there's going to be a big industry consolidation coming, and as long as the stock market keeps going up, and as long as new companies keep getting bought, and if we have obviously a big stock market correction, I could flush out a lot of things and cause that consolidation. But I'm not sure 2021 is going to be the year we're going to see an industry
No,
consolidation.
it's not going to happen in 2021. But I guess
Uh,
that we are kind of gradually moving towards that. So
okay,
SOAR was a movement towards consolidation.
I agree.
Zero Trust is a movement towards consolidation. Cloud, as a general play, is a movement through consolidation, because that kind of gives you this real estate to do the consolidation.
Yeah,
Earlier, it was very hard, whereas cloud kind of creates an uniform playing ground, right? So what I mean to say is that the drivers are gradually kind of falling in place, and which is going to win in the long run, time will say.
sure.
But the good thing is that I'm kind of seeing some of those drivers gradually falling in place. And you're absolutely right. It's probably we are a decade away or 5 years away. Sometimes things can happen faster or slower, but definitely I believe 5 to 10 years.
Yep, I agree with that.
So Dan, the last question. Um, what are some of I can see a lot of books behind you. So let me ask you, which are some of your favorite books and favorite podcasts?
Sure. So to start off, I just want to mention, we talked about this earlier. I brought my book, Virtual Integrity. You can all look at this. This is actually, there's actually, believe it or not, an Indian version that came out. So it was this version here, which actually brings together, we talked about it earlier, Bikash, it brings together kind of my faith and online life, so, the importance of protecting yourself in cyberspace, brings in cybersecurity and everything, but also brings in ethics and the importance of cyber ethics. Brings in, kind of puts it to light, real meat on the bones around that. So those are some books I've read. I've been a part of a couple books, CIO Leadership for state and local governments, emerging trends and best practices. Another book I did a chapter, and I've done chapters in about 5 or 6 books. CIO Leadership for cities and counties, emerging trends and best practices. Again, all these are available at Amazon. You asked me about other books that I've read that I like. And this one's by Bruce Schneier, Secret and Lies. He's got a number of great books that I read. A lot of the books behind me, as we were talking about earlier, are a wide variety of topics. My wife and I both grew up as children of pastors.